Good morning. Bitcoin, 33,000. How about that? Some said it could not happen. And those who said that it couldn't happen were apparently somewhat very knowledgeable about Bitcoin. And lo and behold, what do we have here? What a massive drop. This is quite devastating to a lot of people. Quite devastating. But I mean, the signs were all there that this was happening, right? We've talked about this. We've talked about the very um, nature of what was taking place in this market and why this was very possible. So now we have the big drop, and so I hoping you guys all see what we've been talking about all this time, right? The importance of tracking institutional supply and demand. Because if you don't track it, then you are going to find yourself in big trouble. Big trouble. And there's a lot of traders right now wondering how the heck did this happen to them. You know, remember back here what we were talking about? Here was a very key area that we knew the institutions had put this into a downtrend. So, but up here is when we knew this was very unstable, this market. Over here we knew very unstable, this market, and this drop could take place. And that's it. Well, once the structure is gone, that's it. There's nothing to hold up Bitcoin any longer. All right, this is what we were talking about. Once the structure that the institutions use to facilitate a move higher, once they take out or start to dismantle that structure, then you know its strength is no longer there, and therefore you cannot count on it. So that's the daily chart. We spoke about that, but one thing I will be pointing out is look at where we are sitting inside of. And I'm going to adjust that zone. Look where we are currently sitting inside of. We are sitting inside of an institutional area of demand. Now, do you think there's a chance that after this big drop there's a lot of traders freaking out and selling their long positions? Very likely. Very likely. You see this massive push like that? That's people freaking out. That's people saying, just get out of it. This is going to go down to 10,000. And so when there's such a push for selling positions, this is what happens. A big drop like that. So that's definitely happening. And that happens usually as price enters into areas of institutional buying. So what's very likely to start happening now is we start seeing that from this area. All right. Good morning. If you get a second to hit the like button, I'd appreciate it. Hope you're all doing well. It's 9 o'clock. We're starting to get more of you trickling in. Are you buying? Not now. I won't be buying. No. No. Too early. Too early. Because it's possible that the momentum is going to shift, but we're waiting for specific chart signals to take place before buying. But if I was to be a buyer, it would be from this area. That's for sure. This is the area I would be a buyer from. Not up here, like I told many. I would not be buying up there. Down here, I would be buying from. So, and I would be placing targets, you know, like maybe here, right around this area here. That would be a target. And potentially even higher. Okay. But we're going to wait and see exactly what's taking place. We're going to see how it plays out first, and then decide what would be the better option. So is there any questions in regards to Bitcoin? So there's your daily chart, there's your weekly chart. Remember we spoke about this before. This is a weekly uptrend that we got here. Weekly uptrend, demand zone. Price comes here. I'd like to see the institutions start to shift momentum here. Okay? And those who are students with us would know why I'd like to see momentum shift. Okay? One of the reasons why is we had this area back here. Okay? And this was an area where the institutions caused price to surpass this previous high here. Now the only thing is that the way that this looks, if you take it down to the daily chart, okay, that's this here, right here. That's that area here. So as you can see, price came down, caused some basing, and then slowly made its move up. So this wasn't demand here. There was no institutional demand in this area here. And by the looks of this area on the weekly, it's very likely not institutional demand here either. Okay? But it could be playing a specific role. I just don't think I would be drawing in demand here. But there's a possibility that this area is considered to be an area that was broken and could play some significance in what is about to take place from this area. So what I'm saying is that there's a good likelihood that this breaks through and price drops. Okay? There's the decent likelihood of that happening. So that's why I would not be buying here blindly and just getting in. I wouldn't do that. That's a bad idea. I would much rather wait for the institutions to start buying, and when they start buying, they'll create the proper chart formation. They'll create the proper reversal of momentum to the upside from these areas. So I would much rather wait for that to happen. Alright, so there you go, 33,000. I mean, we called it, right? We called it when price was up in the 55s and 60,000s. You know, I've made mention many times about a friend of mine who was purchasing Bitcoin, and it was up in the 55s, 56s, and I told him, he was gung-ho, you should buy it, it's great, good investment, you know. I read this book, they say this and that about it. I got the book with me here, actually. The Bitcoin Standard, the decentralized alternative to central banking. Like, okay, look, I get it. I get it. It makes sense. It's well written. It's very thought out. You know, and you know, there's possibly some really good points made there. But what I was trying to you know, make him understand is that regardless of all these books and what these people are saying about Bitcoin, we are trading the markets, the reality of the market. Okay, and the reality of the market is that it is controlled by the big banks. And if you don't understand that, then nothing else is going to help you in trading, right? because you'll always be trying to find meaning in everything that's taking place. And when price was in here, being a trader who all I focus on is what the banks are doing with price, the only thing I'm concerned about is whether or not my analysis is correct. That's all I have concern for. I don't care what the books say. I don't care what the news says. I don't care what my friends say. I don't care what anybody says. I don't trust anybody else's opinion except for mine. And it's simply because I'm the one that's put in the hours required to know how to read the chart properly. So I don't trust anybody else's opinion except for mine. And so when price was up in these highs and, demand areas were being taken out and trend lines were being broken, I knew this was just a matter of time until it was going to be a disaster. Yes, they could have started rebuilding new structures to the upside, and we were waiting for that. We said, okay, yeah, it's possible. They could start doing that, and let's wait and see, and see how that works out. And we played with patience. We watched, and I said, this is not good. Once they started removing areas of demand back here and then taking a price to new high, it just didn't make sense. This is not what the institutions usually do when they're going to take price a lot higher. It's usually what they do when they start distributing their positions. Okay? So distributing their positions is they have some positions and they are going to get rid of them at the highs. I think we took a quick look on Google. I'd like to do it again at the very high, April 15. So let's take a look here. April 15. We're going to go into Google. We're going to look at the news, and we're going to take a look at what the news was during this time. Okay, custom range. So we were looking at April 15 to today is May. So we'll do May. It's already fallen. May 9. April 15 to May 9. That looks good. To May 9. Okay. So remember, this is when price was at its highs. Alright? Price was at the highs here. Right here. So let's just do a little screenshot of that, and we're talking about from this here, this area here. Okay? There you go. So now let's take a look at the news and see what was being said. Bitcoin price rallies after Tesla billionaire Elon Musk sparks wild speculation he's buying Bitcoin. Okay? Alright. This is 3 weeks ago. Now, where does 3 weeks ago take us? We are in 1, 2, 3 weeks ago. That was the end of April. So this rally in price here. Okay? So what do you think was happening when price was rallying up here? What do you think was happening? If the institutions needed to get out of long positions, who do you think they needed to be taking their positions off of their hands throughout this area as price was rallying? You wouldn't want to buy something when it was dropping, right? So obviously you would need to create some push to the upside to lure people in, right? So as price was rallying up, you lure people into buying. Now, how would you lure people into buying? I don't know, if you excite people with stories like this. Now remember, it was well publicized when Elon Musk was buying Bitcoin at low prices at the beginning of the year. It was well publicized because he had already purchased it. And to help it fly to the upside, you need people to get excited. So he purchased it, they announce it, everybody jumps in, it helps push the price up. Then at these highs, as he's unloading it, Bitcoin price rallies after Tesla billionaire Elon Musk sparks wild speculation he's buying Bitcoin. The Bitcoin price, after crashing under 50,000 per Bitcoin last weekend, has rebounded this week, with its rally picking up speed following the Tesla and whatever. So you read that and it's pretty good. You're like, oh, okay. Well, I remember last time what happened when he bought. Price flew to the upside. So now I'm hearing the words, it rebounded after crashing. And these are terms that people get excited about, right? Because after making a lot of mistakes, buying too high, you realize, darn it, I shouldn't have bought so high. I should have waited until it crashed and then bought the rebound. So you think these keywords here are there for, just random purposes? You think that? I would highly doubt that. My personal opinion, I would highly doubt that. After crashing under 50,000, rebounded. Billionaire. Remember, he's a billionaire. This guy knows how to make money. So, and he's buying Bitcoin. Yeah, he sure is, right? Or do you think he was offloading Bitcoin? So, that's just an example of what we always talk about here, about how you cannot trust what is released. All right? If you understand that, then you have a good chance of making money in the market. If you don't understand that, you're going to be in trouble. So, let's see if there's any other gems we can find here. We just learned a lot about Tesla's Bitcoin bet. Okay, Bitcoin's price was uncharacteristically steady in the last 3 weeks of March, averaging 55,000. So the math suggests that Tesla sold around 4,800 Bitcoins. Okay. Elon Musk's Tesla just sold some of its Bitcoins. Find out why. 3 weeks ago. Bitcoin crypto markets crash on crackdown reports. That was 1 month ago. So that was this area. Bitcoin suffers flash crash following week of crypto hype. Flash crash. Again, one of those famous popular terms. So I think the point's made. I think the point is made. You see what the result is, and now a lot of people are hurting because they got lured in here. Imagine buying something at 58 and it's basically dropped price in half within a matter of days. You know how many people I heard stories of? I'm going to remortgage my house. I can't tell you how many times I've heard that story. And, my buddy came over to my place and I said, look, let me just put things into perspective. Okay? I said, let me put things into perspective for you, okay? Here's where people were buying Bitcoin. All right? You see right here, that area here, that is where big banks start getting involved in buying. And you see right there, that's where big banks got involved in shorting Bitcoin. You see what happened? You see how much of a drop? Okay, where did it drop to? Right into this area where the banks were buying. Interesting, right? Look how high it rallied up, okay? And then those who were holding from here, they got out, it caused this drop, and look where it went back down to buy. All right. So you see every time it goes up, it comes back down. I mean, nothing goes up forever, right? Now, look at where we are at. Okay. I mean, just put things into perspective. Look at that. Put things into perspective. Now, who in their right mind would buy up there? I'm sorry. I mean, Who in your right mind would buy up there? Why? Because you think it's going to go to 100,000? Okay, it might go to 100,000, but you don't buy after it's rallied so strongly. You can't. That's suicide. You know, you got to wait until it pulls back. You got to wait until it pulls back into areas and then rebuilds to the upside. Otherwise, you're in trouble. Now look. Look at the drop so far. Yeah, we can see now something like this. It's possible. It's possible. You know, it's possible. I'm not saying that that's going to happen, but it's possible. But the point I'm making is, with every rally comes a drop. With every rally comes a drop. With every rally comes a what? Comes a drop. All right, so who in their right mind would be buying up there when you can obviously see that there's a pattern of big drops after big rallies? So, and if you don't have the patience to wait for that to take place, you know, the big drop, then you're going to pay the price. You know, being humbled by the markets is one of the best ways to learn patience, I'll tell you that much. You know, I don't know how many times I've had to be scarred before I said never again. You know, it happens to everybody. So, and, you know, looking at the weekly chart, boy oh boy, look how deep they went down into that area of demand. Makes me start to question why. Because I've studied charts long enough to know that when price reaches down so deep into a demand zone, it's not very good for that demand zone. It doesn't speak very good, very well for that demand zone holding. So it's possible it goes even lower, and boy oh boy, if that happens, I don't know what to tell you. The next spot of buying would be in the 12,000 range. And I've mentioned this before, that there is a possibility that price comes down here. And if it came down here, that would be a better opportunity to start buying. So, let's see your comments. Hit the like button if you get a chance. I'd appreciate it. Doesn't take too much effort. You just got to move your mouse over and click it for me. That would be much appreciated. This is the blueprint of media luring people in and then the asset drop. Look at Musk and now China. When media makes a hype, just sit back and watch the show with some popcorn. Yeah. Doesn't this speak about, you know, overall how things work in this world? If you think it only works this way in the markets, you're deeply mistaken. Unfortunately. Big players with big money are not going to risk their money. Okay? And think about it. If you were super, super rich and you had to do, you know, a lot of dirty dealings to get there, and you don't really care about morals, you don't really care about any of that type of stuff, all you care about is money and, you know, wealth and power, you're not going to invest your money and risk it. You want for sure things. And you have the money to pay for sure things. So, you know, if you and 100 other super wealthy people got together and started talking, wouldn't you want to create a system so that the odds were all in your favor, that your investments would play out and work out? Wouldn't it just make sense to be like that? Well, obviously, right? Okay. So, and, you know, how do I know this to be true? I know it to be true because when you study the markets and you look at what's taking place, it's right there in front of your face. Your average person wouldn't know that because they're not studying this, right? So, but when you make this your profession, and this is how you make your livelihood, then it sticks out like a sore thumb because you're looking for it. You're looking for it and you see all the evidence to support it. Let's see. Retail traders to buy so professionals can sell. Literal Doge coin on the literal moon. Yeah, I keep hearing about Doge. Let's buy some Doge. Doge. This thing's gonna fly. Doge. Yeah, man. No, have you seen Doge? Doge is like nuts, bro. Oh my God. Yeah, a lot of people talking about Doge. Yeah, and Tesla's going to start using Doge. Yeah, Tesla's not going to use Bitcoin no more. But he's thinking about Doge. Did we suck at the M? Yeah, we suck at them in. Oh, nice. Losers. You actually thought I was going to accept that coin to purchase my vehicles? You guys don't know me very well. Yep, gotcha. They got everybody, didn't they? Well, not us, because we don't fall for traps like that. But how many people did they get? They got a lot of people. That sucks. Really sucks. Um, they say sell on good news. Well, it's not that easy. Buy bad news, sell good news. It's not that easy. It's sometimes good news works, sometimes it doesn't. Because if good news was always, bad for the markets, then you would just start doing the opposite. So it's like a casino. You never know when you're going to win, right? So you're hoping that one of those times that you're going to pull down that lever, you're going to win. So at the beginning, the good news was good, and it rallied price up. But now the good news is bad. That's how it is. When you see something rally so strong like this, you're like, well, what's to stop it from going to 100,000? Like, this is abnormal, so this can continue being abnormal. Yeah. Well, until it's not abnormal, and then when you look at it, you're saying, yeah, I guess that was the reasonable move. But at the time, greed can get settle in very strong, and you're not seeing it. So that's what I see. Um, Apparently, new article on China bans financial institutions and payment companies from providing services related to crypto. Yes, Roger. People will be scared to buy at lower prices. Yeah, people will be scared to buy at lower prices. Isn't that ridiculous? Can you imagine if you tell somebody that about a house? Hey, these houses used to sell for $500,000. Yeah, but now they're going at half price. Would you say, man, I'm scared to buy that house? No. What's your purpose for buying a house? It's to live in it for a long time, right? Okay. So if over the longer period of time prices usually go up, then if it usually was 500,000, wouldn't you want to buy it at 250,000? Yeah, because you're in it for the longer term, right? So if you're day trading this, buying now, probably not a good idea. You'd want momentum to start shifting to the upside before you start day trading it. But if you were a long-term holder of Bitcoin and you thought that there's a very good chance it can go back up to the 60,000s, then you could get in. When momentum starts shifting to the upside, like I was mentioning, on higher time frames. But buying at low prices is what you're supposed to do. The thing is that the problem that most traders have is they don't know if these are the low prices or if this is the low price or this 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 or this. Okay, that's the problem, right? They don't know that, and they don't have any way of telling how to figure that out. So by the time there's an uptrend with a trend line that's been contacted 14 times, then they're like, oh, okay, yeah, 14 times of the test. Yeah, okay, now we can start buying. By that time, you're done. Price has already left the train station. It's already almost at its destination. That's where the whole idea of trading using conventional technical analysis just falls apart. So you have to know what to do, what to look for, and what time frames to look for. And if you don't know that, you're in trouble. I mean, we've seen it so many times, right? Um, let's see. Maybe we can see the same development as gold back in 2011. Maybe we can see the same development as gold in 2011. Let me see. 2011. Oh, this and then the drop. Or the rally. After big rallies, there's drops. That's just how it goes. Okay. All right. So likely more likely, Roger, they shake retail traders out before they want to move prices higher. Yeah, it's not about really shaking. Not in this case. This was they needed people to take their positions off of them. That's what it was. They needed to take. They needed people to take the long positions off of their portfolio. I see, but watch the CoT and your analysis. Watch the CoT and your analysis. Not sure what you're talking about. What you mean, Roger? Please explain. Exactly. People are good at buying low and selling high in material items, but opposite when it comes to the markets. Yeah. Well, the reason too is that you know um, you have a better understanding of real products, real physical products. If you see a T-shirt always being sold for $20, and then you see a sign, 50% off at $10, you're like, I'll buy this shirt because I'm going to wear it, and I'm going to wear it all the time. And if next week it's being sold for $8, what am I supposed to do? I didn't really lose out because I'm not reselling this shirt to make money. I'm going to be wearing it. But in the markets, you buy something, you're not going to hold on to it forever, so you're going to eventually sell it. So when you eventually sell it, you got to make a profit. That's what people are afraid of, is because they don't know where price is going to move to. When fundamentals don't work, and they don't support the valuation of any asset, then what are you supposed to base your decisions on? Okay? What are you supposed to base your decisions on? So it falls apart. So of course they're scared to buy low because they don't know if it's going to continue going lower. That is the problem. Let's see. Yeah, they got into late, and then the market drops again. What time frame would you recommend for market shift? Um, at least the daily chart. At least the daily chart. Right now we have a downtrend on the daily. And I would want at least this downtrend to be non-existent. There's no way I would want to buy Bitcoin with a downtrend on the daily chart. So that would have to end, and that's not anywhere close to happening at this point. And when it starts to happen, we'll examine it next week. We'll take a look at these markets, and we'll see what's taking place and see what it's showing us. Do I have the CoT on Bitcoin? I don't follow the CoT on Bitcoin. I don't. I look at it every once in a while, but I don't really focus too much attention on it because there's just too much going on with it. It's too volatile. There's people buying physical, or I shouldn't say physical, but people actually buying Bitcoin, and then people actually buying the futures contract. So there's a lot involved. We can take a quick look at it and see. I think the banks are more short than they are long. It just goes to show, when you look at the CoT report, the brilliance of the banks is just unbelievable. When you study the CoT report in really, minute detail, when you really examine the details of what the banks are doing, and you understand how they move price along, and you understand the power of their money, they are playing such a game. Okay? They've got no concern whatsoever. They manipulate these markets like you have no idea. It's like a chess game to them. Yet they're in full control. Full control. For instance, you look at Bitcoin and take a look here. Shorts are larger than longs. This whole time, shorts are longer than their short positions are larger than their long positions. As price was rallying up, you think they were worried? You think they had any concern whatsoever about those short positions? Hey boss, Notice that we're increasing our short positions, but you do know that price is rallying up. Frankie, old boy, why don't you relax there, okay? It'll be dropping soon enough. Don't you worry about that. Yeah, boss, but it keeps on rallying up. And I don't know if you watched the news last night, but they're saying that Elon Musk is thinking about buying some more. Did they? Wonderful. Let's add some more short. Okay? I mean, that's just how it is. I bet you. I mean, I don't have to be there to watch the conversation. You can just look at it. I've been looking at the CoT reports and watching the short numbers increase and increase and thinking to myself, oh, that's interesting. Price is going up and the shorts are increasing. They're very confident that this sucker's dropping. Very confident. Wonder why they're so confident. They don't seem to be concerned one little bit. And then the news starts coming out. So and so is buying. I'm like, oh, there you go. There you go. Wouldn't that be great to have that much power? You know, to hold a position, a massive position, and then, you know, magically your friend comes out and says, yeah, I'm going to buy it. And he has a massive social media following. Just works out so well, doesn't it? So, look, there you go. 6,601 shorts. Larger than their longs. Very committed to the short side. As price rallies, no concern whatsoever. You think they care about those positions going into the minus? Not one bit. Nope, not one bit. They don't care. It's because it's not even a loss, right? It's not even a loss. A loss is when you close your position. Otherwise, it's just a drawdown. What do they care about drawdowns? They don't care about drawdowns. They're using these positions to move the markets. All right. It's not. It's like using soldiers in the war. All right. You know that you have to invade the beach, and you know that you're going to lose a few thousand of your soldiers, but you do it anyways. Why? Well, because those soldiers aren't your family members, so what do you care? Right? The overall goal is to take over the beach for the greater good of the war, for the greater good of the battle. So if you require, you know, a few thousand people to get shot up, that's what's going to be required. It's harsh, it's horrible, that, you know, but this is the reality. So what do they care about positions going into the minus? They don't care. It's only for a short period of time. Sometimes they'll close positions at losses. They don't care. You know, the profits that they make from these positions is outstanding. Outstanding. You ever looked at the profits from these corporations? HSBC, Citibank, Wells Fargo, JP Morgan. You ever see what they make in profits? And I bet you it's even much greater than what they show. All right? I bet you it's much greater than what they show. And that's just the banks. This doesn't include the people who actually have their money invested with these banks. Okay? The multi-billions of dollars that are invested with these banks, and the money that they make, and how they use that money as well to help push the markets. So if the banks are taking on those positions, you can best be sure that, you know, their big clients are taking them on too. So I would just bet on it. And I'm speculating, obviously, but when you study the data long enough and you see what they do, this is the same story over and over again. I mean, you'd have to be completely blind to not see it. It's there. You just look for it and it's there, staring at you in the face. So anyways, you do use the 4 hour as well. I use the 4 hour chart as well when it's necessary. I follow the CoT on BTC. It's not as useful as for the currencies. No, it's not. because there hasn't been enough history established with this one, with this chart. Okay, the currencies have been around for a long time, so there's a lot of history. So you can pick up, patterns, how they manipulate price, how they get out of positions, how they get into positions, and it's a different ball game. Bitcoin is very, very manipulated, and it doesn't play the same role as what currencies are playing. So it's a different ball game. Okay, so that's Bitcoin. Sorry for those who bought. You shouldn't have. I've warned 1,000 times not to. If you went against it, now you're losing, and I feel bad for you. And hopefully you'll learn from this lesson, and you won't let this ever happen again. Period. All right, move on. Take your losses. Or if you haven't taken your losses, you better pray that this is the area where it's going to start rallying from. Good chance that it is. So now's the time to get on your hands and knees and start praying. If you're not a religious person, now's the time to start becoming one. Oh boy. All right, so let's examine some other markets. Look at oil reacting to the downside from that supply. Nice little drop. Getting weak. What do we say about the USCAD? That a rally up could be expected at this point, right? Remember we were saying that? Same thing with the dollar. That a rally up could be expected at this point after such a significant move down. And same thing with the euro moving downwards. So let's take a look. Any stocks you want to check out? Any stocks? What stocks you guys like? Amazon? Amazon? What's Amazon been doing these days? Okay, NASDAQ. It's slightly different to its official counterpart coming from NASDAQ. NASDAQ by CBOE is slightly different to its official counterpart coming from NASDAQ. Alright, so it's not the official. Now I have to close every single one of these things. That's a pain in the butt. So we saw 3,600. That's massive. That is massive. And so let's take a quick look at what's taking place. So right away I see that we have demand here, 2,500, 2,800 area as well. Uptrend being held. Let's see, uptrend being held probably. Yeah, not a great uptrend. You see how this one moved from 0.1 to 0.2 here on this trend line? Yeah, look how much it's left that area. So it will typically want to come back at some point, right? Look at the distance between here and here, and look how much we've gone so far. So it's time. It looks like it could definitely drop. Let me see. Yeah, looks like it can drop. So being a buyer at 28 is not the greatest. Okay, let's look at the monthly chart. I'll point out something to you. Okay, so when we look at the monthly chart, you know, we have that type of situation and we have this type of situation. Oops. So this area here would be a good area to buy on the monthly chart. Now let's say price was to drop. Take a look at this. Okay, into that area of demand. You see how not only is that area of demand of the trend line in line with each other, okay, you see how price rallied up. This is 0.1, 0.2. You see the distance it rallied. Okay, if it comes down, you see the distance from here to here and here to here. So it's more likely that price would drop down to an area of demand on the monthly chart before continuing higher than it is to drop to that area of demand on the weekly chart before continuing higher. So that's what I'd be looking at on this one. Would I want to be going short now? Not really. Why? Well, remember when I told you when price is in a range, you don't want to get involved. My personal opinion. Why? Because there's no momentum in any direction. Yeah, if you're going to take 5-minute scalps, sure, you might get lucky with some drops or some rallies, but that's not a consistent way to win. So let's take a look at the daily chart. Yeah, that's messy. That's messy. But I can't see what a trend line here. We had supply up here. So that worked out well. Shorting here at supply, that worked out quite well. Let me see something else here. So we have an area of demand down here. This would play an important role, this area of demand, for me. So if I was to want to get in short, I would need to see this area get taken out here. Price drop, take out this area, create some area of supply up here, and then shorting at that area down towards the monthly area of demand. Okay, how's the audio? We're getting a couple of people saying, well, one person is saying, Jason's saying that the audio is falling out. How's the audio for everybody? You can just give me a yes, a Y if it's good, or an N if it's not. Should be okay. Everything seems to be okay on my side here. Oh, let me just stretch my neck. How you guys doing so far? Good? You hitting that like button for me? I appreciate it. Oh boy, Amazon. Hi Carlo, nice to see you, buddy. So that's what I'm looking at in terms of Amazon for the time being. That's what it looks like. Gold to the moon. Yeah, everybody's liking gold now, right? All those that are like, gold, come on, give me a break. Gold? It's like, seriously, man? Bitcoin is the thing, man. Bitcoin is the thing. Well, no. Now a lot of people are not thinking that, are they? Yeah. Why is good? Good. Now people are like, gold, eh? Never really thought about gold. Maybe I should start concentrating on gold a little bit more. Hey, Wilma, you got that book about gold that I bought a couple years back? Yeah, Henry, you said you don't like that book, that you're a Bitcoin boy now. Isn't that what you said, Bitcoin boy? Yeah, sweetheart, don't worry about Bitcoin. I'm going to start focusing on gold again. Well, you should, because gold is real. Gold is a real thing. So you should be focusing on gold, in my opinion, right? So, gold is real. Gold's rallying. Isn't this what we were watching for? Isn't this what we were expecting? This is a big move here that's taking place. And it's very likely going to continue. So we're watching for that. Alright, we are watching for that, but it's looking really good. Really good. Let me see. Euro yen. So euro yen, I was going to make a post about this in the community under the watch list. So euro yen is a good chart. I like it. It dropped down into 4-hour demand now. Now we're getting a push to the upside. We're going to take advantage of what's about to happen. So I'll give more details on the watch list within the forum. later. But like I was mentioning yesterday, this thing is going to fly from what I see. Okay. I don't see any reason why it wouldn't. Let's just say that at this point. And it's I'm making a call early. We had the signal lower on the chart as well, and we had our profit target get hit already, so that worked out well. Now we're looking to re-engage. Pound, dollar. This one's not bad. The pound dollar is not too bad, although it has a lot of stuff to work through. It has a lot of stuff to work through. I don't like buying something when there's like major obstacles that it has to work through. It's just not ideal. I don't like obstacles. Remember USCAD? I was short USCAD. Why? Because there was no obstacles. It was free to drop, hardcore. That's what I want. I want to get in short when something is going to drop and there's nothing to stop it. You look at the monthly chart, for instance. There's nothing to stop price until here, 113s. So, yes, there can be short-term moves to the upside and all that stuff, but over the longer period of time, this is going to drop. Okay, these are the type of charts I like. If it's not clear, if there's no clear paths, you're going to have issues. It doesn't have to be perfectly clear. There's times where you can get into positions when there are some objects, but you have to know when those times are. And a pound going long is not ideal for that. When is the Dow Jones going to stop falling? Let's take a look. Why is it falling right now? Yeah, a little pullback. We were looking at this one before, weren't we? Yeah. Let's take a look here. So this is what I am seeing. So we have an uptrend on the monthly chart, and we have demand at the 3100s, 31,000s I should say, and we also have demand at the 33,000 level. So can it do that? Yeah, it could do that. We have an uptrend on the weekly, monthly. All major time frames have trends in play. So price can come down here and rebound, that's for sure, or it's going to drop down to the 30,000s, this area, and then rally up. Those are the two likely scenarios. Okay, because the daily chart, forget about it. So when I'm looking at this chart, all I'm looking at is these 4 time frames. I'm looking at monthly, weekly, daily, 4 hour. And I can tell you the 4 hour, you shouldn't be focusing on it. The daily, you shouldn't be focusing on it. The only ones that are valid right now are the weekly chart and the monthly chart. Okay? So if you saw good opportunity for price to be dropping to the weekly area of demand, where's the weekly area of demand? 33,259. Price is at 33,000 now. Alright, so you wanted to get into short positions? You can. It's risky, but you can. Just know that you got to put your stop loss, somewhere before large drops in price, and get in short and target those areas on the weekly chart. You could do that. That'd be a good strategy. Risky because you always want to go with the trends. The trends are up right now. Monthly is up. Weekly is up. So that's what you'd want to be focusing on is going long. Always do what the banks are doing. Are there going to be times in uptrends where price is going to drop? Yes, but you don't know how far it's going to drop. Are they taking massive profits or just, a small amount of profits? Small amount of profits means price can drop and then reverse up before major areas of demand get contacted. That could happen. If they are larger moments of profit taking, then you can get bigger drops into areas of demand before the banks start buying. So knowing the difference of those two is difficult unless you do this for, a long time and then you increase your odds from your trades. Otherwise, you want to stick with going with the direction of the banks. Locate their areas of demand. When price gets down into them, you buy. And then price rallies like magic when price comes into those areas. All right, so that's that. Dow Jones doesn't look like it could stop dropping at any point. Is my point, but it's likely going to drop to one of those two areas. All right. The SPY. What was the SPY doing yesterday? We took a look at it yesterday. A small pullback is the same thing. Yeah, it's the same thing, same story. They're pretty much doing the same thing. We'll look at one more, and then if you have any questions, I'll take your questions, and then I will let you go. Kiwi. Let's take a look at Kiwi. What's going on with Kiwi? Kiwi is not doing much. It's still in that sideways action. Supply, demand, holding price. So it's going to be doing this for some time until it breaks out. There's nothing really to say here. And remember, what we were seeing was potential for price to retrace, right? Retrace. When institutional supply or demand comes into place, you get movement. But after that movement takes place, you usually get a pause and then one of two things: the continued move or a retracement. So when price is in retracements, you got to be able to spot that, because the importance of spotting it is if you can spot on the Euro US dollar chart, it's likely going to take place on the pound and the Aussie and the Kiwi and the CAD and the Swiss franc, and the yen. They're typically going to happen everywhere on those same time frames. So if you're spotting them on multiple charts, those retracements, then it's not the time to trade, because retracements are not times for trading. If we're expecting the euro to slightly drop, you don't want to go short, because it's just a slight drop, right? Before a continued move. It's the continued move that you want to get involved in, not that slight drop. So euro's looking pretty decent. Some decent strength. Prices moved to the upside. We got long signals on this one already. I'm in long. And so this is looking very good. Looking very good for a continued move. And we're only in Wednesday, so we got a couple more days. So remember, what I've always been saying is that usually Tuesdays, Wednesdays, Thursdays are the movers, right? That's when the banks are making moves. Friday kind of sits, does nothing. So we have one more day of movement. So is this one more day of movement going to be part of the retracement, or is it going to be part of the continuation? I would say that the majority of the move for this week has already been made. So now it's either going to be continuing today and tomorrow, or is it going to retrace? And it looks like so far that it might just be consolidating. The move's made, going to consolidate, then we have the weekend, then the data comes out. The data will conveniently not show the move that the banks made this week, right? It will not show it. It will be showing the moves that they made the previous week. And the previous week could be just the setup for the move this week. And it could show something opposite of what actually took place this week. So you have to understand the context of this data when it comes out, and where it fits in with the story. And if you do understand the context, then it's pretty clear what they're doing. So, and if it's not clear to you, then read the Araujo report, and it's all broken down for you in detail of what's going on. And use that information to open up your positions. So any questions before I let you go? It's been about an hour. I think we're good to go, right? We took a look at Bitcoin. I'm going to have to call my friend to give him some consoling. He called me yesterday, actually, my Bitcoin long guy. And he was just asking me about, my fall that I had over the weekend. Did not mention Bitcoin one bit. Okay, did not mention it one little bit. I don't know if he was waiting for me to bring it up. Probably doesn't even want to talk about it. He's probably throwing up thinking about Bitcoin. But he did not bring it up one little bit. But I'll speak to him, and I'm going to let him know, what the situation is right now, and maybe I'll redirect him to this video, and he can watch it in detail. All right. Before I let you go, hit the like button one more time. I would appreciate it. Or if you have not, I should say, if you haven't, if you wouldn't mind, I would appreciate it if you'd hit that like button. And then I'll let you guys go for the rest of the day. And if you have any charts that you want to look at, always leave them in the messages here, and I'll spend some time to take a look at it. Okay? Loud and clear? Everybody good? Let me know if you are good, and if you are ready for me to shut off and move along, or if you have any questions. I don't see any new questions, so I guess I will be letting you guys go. Alright. Thanks for your time today. Thanks for hanging out with me. Really appreciate it. And all the best. Enjoy your day. And I'll be around. Be updating the forum and the class that we did a couple days ago. I'll edit that.